Hello, and thank you for watching today's Canada Regional Forecast. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, the jet stream, we talked about it all of last week, this very amplified pattern across the continent of North America here, this big ridge over the Gulf of Alaska, trough digging in over the western half of the United States and Canada with a big trough over the east. A pattern like this, again, forces a lot of warm air northward across the Corn Belt of the United States, the Midwest here. We are experiencing summer-like weather with high temperatures around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That is close to 30 degrees Celsius. That also brings a lot of cold air south where we've got this trough, a lot of winter-like air. So extremes on both ends, an early taste of winter across the Canadian prairie, and a late dose of summer across the Midwest of the United States. I guess it just depends on what kind of weather you like, whether you are happy or sad about that. Me, I like the warm weather, so I am perfectly happy with the warm air sitting over the Midwest right now. The feeling I've been getting from the people experiencing the snow and the winter weather in this area here is, we like it, but maybe a little bit early for this time of year. So the good news is it's not permanent. The bad news is the core of the cold just now settling into the region. The temperature anomalies for the next 5 days breaking the color bar here across parts of southern Alberta into Montana. That is 20 degrees Fahrenheit, cooler than average. Again, here's that summer-like warmth across the eastern third of the United States. Over the next week, precipitation going to be rather quiet across the prairie here just for the next 4 or 5 days. Once we get beyond that, we are going to start bringing in a rather active pattern that's going to bring multiple chances for precipitation once we get into the later part of this week into next week. But near average or a little bit below average across the Canadian prairie in terms of precipitation over the next week. The place that might see a little bit above average would be southern Manitoba, and that largely because of this storm system that is exiting the area right now. The satellite picture here on Monday morning, again, here is this powerful storm system still wrapping up across the northern plains of the U.S. and the Canadian prairie. We saw all kinds of thunderstorms along a warm front that extended across the Midwest yesterday afternoon and evening, even some severe weather. And then on the backside here, seeing the cold temperatures and the snow falling still across parts of southern Alberta into Saskatchewan, and then parts of the northern U.S. as well. And then look at this, the very warm air being fed northward in advance of that across the northern plains of the United States. Now, the radar picture here on Monday morning, again, seeing some snow continuing, especially across parts of south central Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba, seeing some of this snow still coming down. Rain across southern Manitoba. I think I might have misspoke here. Snow falling across southern Alberta into south central Saskatchewan with warmer temperatures off to the east, meaning rain for southern Manitoba. 24 hours, the last 24 hours of snowfall across the prairie here. Hopefully we'll get some more reports coming in shortly, but we do see some here north of 26 centimeters here, south of Calgary. Anywhere from 15 to 30 centimeters. And then as you head eastward, right around 10 centimeters across parts of south central Saskatchewan as well. And then as you head south into parts of the northern U.S. here, north of 20 to 30 centimeters as well. So we'll get final totals here when we do our Monday or our Wednesday Canadian forecast, but certainly starting to stack up across this section here, across southern Manitoba into the northern U.S. and then across parts of south central Saskatchewan. Now, the pattern I mentioned, it doesn't last forever. We got this big ridge, trough, and ridge. As we head through the next few days, we'll see this trough kind of flatten out, but then again, we move into this active period, which is going to be shown better when we flip over here. Take a look at positive potential vorticity here at 500 millibars. Now, what does this mean? Where you see the dark shaded colors here, this is the way that we can pick out disturbances. We've got spin in the atmosphere, and spin in the atmosphere typically correlates to rising motion within the atmosphere, cloud cover, and precipitation, where this in advance of the area of vorticity. I'm getting tripped up here trying to give a Meteorology 101 lesson, but let me go ahead and just show you what I mean. Kind of highlighting the prairie here. As each one of these disturbances tracks through the area, that's when we see the opportunity for cloud cover, for rain and precipitation, and also the chance for some cooler air to come in on the backside. And just watch what happens with the pattern here as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. Begins to get quite active with the little lobes of vorticity swinging through the area. Each one of these is a little disturbance that's going to bring the chance for some precipitation and then a chance to do some roller coastery things to our temperatures as well across the prairie. Now, we'll just kind of step through time with this one and show you that it is quiet for a couple of days. Now, unfortunately, so the storm system moves out. We do see a little bit of high pressure behind that. But unfortunately, the reason I say that is we're going to see the coldest air settle into the region with that area of high pressure settling into the region. So very cold but quiet for a few days before we kind of swing back into this active pattern. We see another storm system, another area of vorticity. We see it right here swinging through in the Thursday to Friday time frame. This one gets out of here. We see another lobe come swinging through right here. This would be Tuesday of next week. We see another one come swinging through here. This is a subtle one, but still a disturbance nonetheless coming in Friday of next week. And then on the heels of that, another more powerful system, another couple of them swinging through. So we'll talk about each one of these as they come. I'm just kind of letting you know this is the pattern we're heading toward. Once we get through these couple days of quiet weather here midweek, getting into the end of this week and into next week, it does look like we're heading toward a more unsettled pattern, one that's going to bring opportunities for precipitation back to the region and could do some up and down things with our temperatures here, perhaps keeping this cooler pattern kind of going, not necessarily with the extreme chill that we're seeing right now, but maybe lending toward the cooler overall side of things. Let's take a look at precipitation now, something that makes a little bit more sense to us here. And again, we're watching this first storm system exit the area, the center of low pressure across the northern plains of the United States here on Tuesday morning. Snow on the backside here where we've got strong southerly flow bringing in the cooler air, warm southerly flow on the leading edge of that, and that is what is keeping us very warm across the Corn Belt. So again, two extremes here, very cold on the backside, very warm on the leading edge of this storm system as it makes its way through the area. It quickly exits here as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll start to see snow finally come to an end here from west to east, seeing perhaps rain mixing with snow across parts of south central Manitoba as we go through the overnight tonight. But this precipitation should come to an end by the time we get to Tuesday morning. For the most part across the area, perhaps some very light snow flurries, very light shower or two across parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba during the day on Tuesday, but very, very light trace amounts of precipitation, if any at all. Now, you remember we're quiet as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday, quiet and cold across the prairie. This is when we'll see the coldest air here is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings across the prairie. And it's as we get into Thursday now, this is when that first disturbance swings through the area. See the area of low pressure developing right now. This would be on Friday morning, Thursday night into Friday morning, seeing this area of low pressure develop across the northern portions of the prairie here, just north of the prairie perhaps, but bringing some very light precipitation opportunities to portions of central Alberta, central Saskatchewan, and then maybe parts of Manitoba as well as we get into Friday and Saturday. Likely going to be on the light side with this one as well, mid to late week. The only exception, perhaps far southern portions of Manitoba getting in on some of the heavier precipitation on the southern end of this storm system again as we get into Friday and Saturday. On the backside, again, strong flow coming in from the northwest, going to bring another round of chilly air to the area, perhaps some light rain showers as we get into Saturday and Sunday. So really as we look at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, very light opportunities for precipitation with this disturbance coming through. We get into next week, we're looking at Tuesday and Wednesday now with cold air in place, another storm system sweeping through the region, and that perhaps bringing another shot of some light snow to the area Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Now we're getting a week out into the future with an active pattern. That is a recipe for me giving you bad information. So we're going to go ahead and pause with the idea, with the knowledge that next week looks quite active, and we're going to skip on the details until we get a little bit closer. But there you saw it, quiet for the next couple of days with that chill settling into the region, perhaps turning back toward an active pattern with at least light opportunities for precipitation over the coming weekend, and then turning active even more so as we head into the next week with perhaps another opportunity for some snow for some folks here across the prairie, perhaps around Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Now again, this storm system exits. We don't see a lot in the way of snow accumulating, which is good news here until, again, we get to perhaps Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, somewhere around that time frame with some cold air in place. If we keep this active pattern going, certainly the opportunity that one or two of these storm systems could bring another round of some light snow to the region. We'll talk about that more in depth as we get going. Of course, with cold air in here, our frost model. If you haven't seen frost already, you're probably going to see it over the next couple of days. The only exception continues to be perhaps far southern Manitoba, holding on to just enough warm air that maybe you stay a degree or two above that. But more than likely, as we get into this would be Wednesday morning and then perhaps Thursday morning, probably just about everyone going to be seeing their first frost across the Canadian prairie. Now, total precipitation, just taking it through the end of the week. Again, not expecting much. It should be mostly dry, if not completely dry, for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Not until we get to late Thursday night and Friday do we start to see the opportunity for more measurable precipitation, though still likely going to be light in nature across the prairie, but again, dry for the next 3 days or so. Now, of course, dry but very cold. The core of the coldest air moves into the region now over the next 48 to 72 hours. Your high temperatures for the day on Monday, very close to freezing across southern Alberta here. Temperatures right around 0 or 1 degree. Warmer off to the north where there's not snow on the ground, but still only in the single digits. Your low temperatures tonight, especially where we have snow, temperatures likely going to be plummeting here below 0. Freezing temperatures expected over the entire southern half of Alberta and very close to 0 elsewhere, if not below 0, but anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees below 0 for the overnight low on Tuesday night or Monday night into Tuesday morning. Your high temperatures tomorrow probably, if you get above 0, just barely getting above 0. Some spots likely going to be staying below 0 for the high on Tuesday across southern Alberta. Warmer off to the north again where there's not snow in place as this pattern begins to moderate, but it's the snow on the ground that keeps us very cold. Overnight lows on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning also going to be 5 to 15 degrees below 0. Starting to warm up slightly as we get into Wednesday. Your high temperatures on Wednesday just above 0 again, but you notice it is warming up off to the north where there's not snow on the ground. And then another night below 0 as we head to Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Temperatures anywhere from 0 to -8 or -10 across the southern half of Alberta. Flipping it off to the east, again, this storm system gets out of here. Precipitation comes to an end by the time we get to today on Tuesday. Not looking at any additional precipitation as we head through Wednesday and Thursday. Perhaps late Thursday into Friday and Saturday, we'll see some light precipitation moving across the area, but overall going to be quiet for the next 5 days across much of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Looking at your high temperatures for the day on Monday, near 0 across southern Saskatchewan, in the single digits to near 10 degrees across southern Manitoba. Your overnight lows tonight, very close to 0. Again, the only area that I think might avoid the frost is what I'm trying to say here is southern Manitoba, perhaps holding on to those last couple of degrees. Your high temperatures on Tuesday in the single digits, overnight lows Tuesday night into Wednesday below 0, especially where we've got snow on the ground across southwestern Saskatchewan. Again, holding on to a few degrees here across southern Manitoba. Your high temperatures on Wednesday in the single digits once again, widespread across the entire area. And then your overnight lows on Wednesday night into Thursday morning near 0 across southern Saskatchewan and southwestern Manitoba. But again, holding on to perhaps those last couple of degrees and holding off the frost across southern Manitoba here with low temperatures around 2, 3, maybe 4 degrees on Thursday morning. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, but I'll be back to talk about the Canadian prairie on Wednesday morning. Have a great day, stay warm, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.